Have you ever felt like there's just something wrong with you? Some fundamental flaw you just can't seem to shake? Well, what if I told you those flaws aren't flaws at all? We're about to look at them in a totally new way, and it might just change everything.
So, let's get right into it. Does this sound like you? We have these huge dreams, right? Massive ambitions. But when it's actually time to get to work, you just feel lazy. The motivation just isn't there.
Okay, or how about this one? You look around and on paper, your life is good. It's fine, maybe it's even great, but you've still got this low-level hum of anxiety just under the surface, and you can't figure out why.
And the big one. Are you just exhausted all the time? And I don't mean that good, satisfying tired after a long, productive day. I mean that deep, bone-weary fatigue that's there even when you feel like you've done absolutely nothing.
If you're nodding along, you've probably told yourself a story about this. You know, that you lack discipline, or you're not grateful enough, or you just need more sleep. But what if that whole story is wrong? What if these feelings aren't flaws we need to fix, but actually signals we need to listen to?
So, let's dive into the real reason you might feel so stuck. And here's a spoiler. It has absolutely nothing to do with you being lazy or broken. First up, let's talk about something called motivational efficiency. Get this, your brain isn't actually lazy. It's the opposite. It's incredibly efficient. It's literally hardwired to save energy. So when you procrastinate, it's not a moral failure. It's your brain sending up a red flag saying, hey, this path forward is super unclear, or the reward just doesn't seem worth the effort.
Now for that anxiety. We're always taught that anxiety is a malfunction, right? A bug in the system. But what if it's actually a feature? Think of it this way. Anxiety is the price of being a conscious human being with free will. That feeling is a powerful signal that you are paying attention, that your choices matter, and that you're aware that you have a future you can shape. It means you actually care.
And what about being so tired? Well, that often comes down to what's called the incomplete stress cycle. See, your body's stress response, that whole fight or flight thing, was designed for short bursts. You see a predator, you run, you escape, and the cycle is complete. But our modern stress isn't a predator. It's a looming deadline, a tough conversation you need to have. These things trigger the stress, but we never do the fighting or fleeing to complete the cycle. So our bodies stay stuck in on mode, just burning through our energy even when we're sitting perfectly still. And here is where it all clicks into place. These things aren't happening separately, they're a chain reaction. It starts with a goal that's too vague or seems inefficient, so your brain, being smart, hits the brakes. That's procrastination. But then, because you know the goal is important, that avoidance creates anxiety. And living in that unresolved loop of anxiety and inaction keeps your stress cycle wide open, which leads, you guessed it, to total exhaustion. It's a system, you see, not a personal failure.
Okay, let's make this super concrete with an example. Let's imagine someone we'll call Alex, the lazy dreamer. I have a feeling a lot of us are going to see ourselves in Alex.
So Alex has this big project he's passionate about, but he can't start. The old story, the one he's been telling himself for years, is I'm lazy, I'm unmotivated. And that story leads straight to watching TV to escape the shame. But with this new framework, the story changes completely. Now it's, my brain isn't lazy. It's just telling me the first step is too big. And this anxiety I'm feeling, that's just proof of how much this project matters to me. I just need a smaller, clearer way to begin. Do you feel the difference? It's huge.
Because the outcome of these two stories is night and day. The old story, the one where you're the problem, always ends in a dead end of shame and inaction. The project never gets done. But the new story, the one where you're just a signal reader, it opens up a world of curiosity and problem solving. It actually creates a path forward.
All right, so understanding the signals is amazing, but it's only half the battle. The other half is turning that understanding into action. So, how do we actually do that?
There's this incredible idea, often tied to the work of Carl Jung, that completely flips our usual thinking on its head. We think we need to feel clear and motivated before we can act, but it's almost always the other way around. The clarity we're so desperately waiting for is actually a consequence of movement. It's found on the other side of just taking one small step.
So what does this all boil down to? It means you can stop trying to fix yourself. You're not a project that needs fixing. The real goal here is just to listen to the signal your mind and body are sending you, and then to respond with one tiny, tiny little bit of movement.
So here's your first move, and it is so simple it's going to feel silly. First, pick one thing.
just one that you've been avoiding. Now forget the whole task. Your job is to make the very first step so small it's almost laughable. I mean, like open the document, or write just one sentence, or find one phone number. Then, and this is crucial, you do only that tiny step. And that's it. You're done.
Why does this work? Because finishing something, anything, no matter how ridiculously small, sends a powerful signal to your nervous system. It breaks that old familiar pattern of not finishing things. It completes a neurological loop and tells your brain, hey, see, I can begin, I can move forward. You literally create momentum from nothing.
So I want to leave you with this question to think about. What signal, that feeling you call laziness, or anxiety, or exhaustion, have you been misinterpreting as a personal flaw? And what ridiculously small first step can you take, maybe even right now, to start a brand new conversation with yourself?